Hi Taurus and Taurus rising. This is your March 2017 forecast. So March is a bit of a paradoxical month for you. On the one hand, you've got the sun in your 11th house until the 20th of March, and this is the house of friends, groups, hopes and dreams. It's a very sociable sector of the chart. It's all about connecting with people, leaning on social networks. It's a very lively social agenda. But on the other hand, your ruling planet Venus is going retrograde in your 12th house. So for everyone, Venus retrograde can mean finishing up past business with relationships. So you may find yourself running into partners from your past, and so you may be looking somebody up or somebody may be looking you up. So you can also reconnect with friends. So Venus, that planet of love, affection, friendship and money, for you in the 12th house sector tends to be a more private, discreet expression of love and friendship and romance and that sort of thing. So with Venus in the 12th house, this can show up in a number of ways. You know, Venus in the 12th tends to be more private, reflective, discreet in her affections. So Venus in the 12th can be a time of compassion, understanding for other people, for aligning yourself with causes bigger than yourself. It's a very good placement for charity work, social work. Also a very good time for creative work in private, so this could be a good time to pull up that copy of The Artist's Way and work through those sorts of exercises as well. On the other hand, you can also find yourself being a bit conflicted in terms of what you want out of relationships at this time. So you're not entirely sure what you want, you can be a bit fickle in your attachments, or you may find that people that you're attached with are more fickle with regards to you. So as I said, very good energy though for volunteer work, charity work, for aligning yourself to charitable causes and activities. So selfless service really indicated. But let's review what the other planets are doing. As I said, the sun is in your 11th house until the 20th, and this sets the stage for a lively social calendar. And this is kind of underscored because Mercury will be in the 11th house until the 14th as well. So this gives rise to a lot of verbal and intellectual exchanges with friends, lots of socializing, leaning on your social networks for support, using your social networks to advance your goals and objectives as well. You know, because the 11th house is that house of dreams coming true, luck, and assistance from others or benefactors. So it's also the house of groups that we associate with. So you may find that you're taking a look at your role in groups, your dependence on groups, and what groups you're affiliated with. So it's causes bigger than yourself yet again. So the first 20 days of the month, very happy goal-orientated cycle, but you may find in terms of your affection or expression, in terms of personal feelings and emotions, that you're keeping a bit in reserve or being a little bit more private in that respect and reflective with Venus in the 12th, retrograde until the 15th of April. So the sun will be moving into your 12th house from the 20th of March, and this is really that month leading up to your birthday cycle. So from the 20th of March until pretty much the same time in April, you know, the sun is in your 12th house. So what does this mean for you? This is that period before the birthday cycle, the start of a new solar year. So it's about reflecting on, you know, the past year. So looking at your preoccupations, your commitments, your attachments, deciding what attachments you want to retain and what attachments you want to let go of. So it's really review, reflection. And after the very busy social start to the month until the 20th, now it's time to withdraw, you know, time to recharge your batteries, time to contemplate, to meditate. It's very good for spiritual studies, reflection, pause and review. Mercury will be joining the sun in your 12th house from the 14th onwards, and this can have you keeping your ideas and opinions to yourself. It's also a very good placement for study and research. So for anything that you want to pursue behind the scenes, especially with Venus here, you know, very good for creative activity behind the scenes, any kind of research and study with Mercury here. So it's very likely that there's something that's under wraps for you at the moment, something that you're developing, something that you want to launch at a later stage. This is especially the case with Mars, which starts off the month until the 12th of March in your 12th house. So with Mars in the 12th, sometimes we can feel a bit frustrated, thwarted, like other people aren't on the same page as us. So this is really also, again, good for working in private or, you know, working alone as much as possible. And again, for charitable work or opportunities to assist others, very good like that. But Mars in the 12th, also very good if you're developing something behind the scenes that you want to launch when Mars goes into your first house. So Mars will go into your first house after the 12th of March. And this tends to be very good for goal-orientated activity. You're no longer feeling thwarted. In fact, nothing can stand in your way. So all that external energy is being directed into projects in terms of goals, ambitions. You know, it's that time where you want to have your unique talents and capabilities recognized, and you're more likely to find that you're favorably received in that sense. You know, you're feeling confident, you're feeling self-assured, you're very goal-orientated and ambitious with Mars in the first house. So like I said, a paradoxical month for you, with Venus in the 12th house. So in some sense, discrete affections, you know, reflecting on relationships, perhaps connecting with old friends and past partners, or just, you know, private activity, contemplation, creative activity, keeping your ideas to yourself. And then, like I said, Mars moving into your first house, upbeat, independent, energetic activity combined with that. So let's see how it works out for you. Okay, so let's look at the aspects this month. On the 1st of March, we've got the Sun conjuncting Neptune in your 11th house. And the Sun and Neptune together can go one of two ways. On the one hand, we may overindulge. So indulging in Neptunian activities, which tend to be drinking and substance abuse. And you also find that you're more sensitive to these things at this time. So it's not necessarily a good idea to indulge too much. This can also activate an interest in occult or spiritual subjects, you know, and you may find, because this is in the 11th house of friends and groups, you know, it could be a time to associate with a spiritual group or study group, or to discuss these sorts of subjects with friends. On the 2nd of March, Jupiter opposes Uranus from your 6th to your 12th house, and this is quite a significant aspect that we've been seeing already this year, and often when it becomes exact, there can be released from binding circumstances, duties, obligations. So events can conspire in such a way that we have more freedom. And that's really what this aspect is looking for. Jupiter opposing Uranus, you know, you're looking for freedom from restrictions. And for you, this is going to be particularly around work, routine obligations, and commitments. So you want to break from those sorts of things. And as I said, circumstances can often conspire in such a way that there is a release of tension. So you find yourself extricating yourself from certain duties and obligations. And for you, this could be around work, routine, you know, things that affect your health and well-being also. So on the 4th, we've got Mercury conjuncting Neptune in your 11th house. And again, like the Sun and Neptune, Mercury and Neptune, it's very good for perceptive, sensitive thinking, creative self-expression. On the other hand, one tends not to be as confident or self-assured in your point of view. But for you, you could again just be having conversations with friends, with groups, bouncing around ideas, particularly as pertaining to spirituality or creative ventures. On the 5th, we've got Mars trining Saturn from the 12th to the 8th house. And this combination of energies can show a lot of endurance, a lot of patience, the capacity to really push through in difficult circumstances. So, you know, here this can be demanding, exacting tasks that need to be done. And with Mars in the 12th, hopefully this is with you working alone or independently on something so that others aren't really obstructing you. Saturn really good for that diligence and perseverance as well. On the 6th of March, we've got the Sun conjuncting Mercury in your 11th house. And this is great for having conversations, initiating conversations and connections with friends and groups. So there's a lot of exchange and interchange of plans and ideas. And for you, because the 11th house concerns goals, objectives, and dreams, it can be, you know, kind of making those more concrete, putting them on paper, getting them out there. So reformulating ideas, goals, and objectives, very favorable under this transit. It's very future thinking. So on the 8th, Mercury and the Sun, which are still loosely conjunct, are sextiling Pluto from your 11th to your 9th houses. So these aspects are very good for reforming circumstances, for organization, you know, and again for you, this is around groups, around hopes and dreams and objectives. So here you're really able to get to the bottom of things. It's very problem solving, it's very truth seeking. So you're really able to be very flexible in your thinking and consider things in new ways, so very good for reforming and organizing and reframing goals and objectives for you. So on the 12th of March, we've got the full moon in Virgo in your 5th house. So here you could find a social invitation gets extended to you. This could be, emotions are running high, but, it's a very social placement for you. So, this would be the time to go out to a party or accept an invitation socially. In terms of romantic affiliations, because this is the house of pleasure and romance, you may decide to pour your heart out to somebody, really let them know how you feel, so you can have some kind of romantic epiphany. Activities with children can also be, more of a whirlwind than usual too, because the 5th house is also the house of children. So on the 17th, we've got the Sun squaring Saturn, so a difficult aspect between your 11th and your 8th houses. So this one can raise troubling issues, and for you, this could be around friends, money, areas where you're feeling supported, but in this case, you won't be feeling too supported. Your energy is also a bit low, you're feeling discouraged, perhaps a bit isolated, and there can also be a lot of interference, perhaps from friends, particularly older ones. On the 18th of March, we've got Mercury conjuncting Venus in your 12th house. So for you, this could be a declaration of love or affection towards a friend, and for you to express discreetly, privately, behind the scenes, the 12th house being that place of private, hidden things. So for you, this could be around a secret infatuation. Perhaps you're just journaling about your feelings in this regard, and you're not letting them out or speaking up about them just yet. On the 25th, we've got the Sun conjuncting Venus in the 12th house. And this is very good for creative self-expression, chemistry, charisma, making you more attractive to others. And again, for you, this happening in a very discreet, understated way or private capacity. So this can bring the return of new or old love interests as well. So with Venus retrograde, you never know who'll turn up on your doorstep. On the 28th, we've got the new moon in Aries happening in your 12th house. So there are going to be a lot of planets in the 12th house, the Sun and the Moon, Uranus, Venus. So Aries is really loaded up at this time, and for you it's in the 12th house. So this is really a time for pause. It's been a very social calendar for you this month, especially up until the 20th with the Sun and Mercury in your 11th house. But now with the new moon in your 12th house, it's really a time of letting go, a time of introspection. And again, very good for selfless service. You're feeling more empathetic, more in tune with other people, but it tends to be more quiet, meditative, contemplative period. So this might be that time of soul searching. So, and looking at and developing things behind the scenes. Again, Mercury and Venus in the 12th, very good for creative work or study behind the scenes. So the month concludes with Jupiter squaring Pluto from your 6th to your 9th house. And this aspect, also an important aspect of 2017, really arouses ambition and striving for power. You're wanting to make a difference. You're wanting to be successful. You're wanting to be recognized. And for you, this is happening in the house of service and work. So, what can you do in this area to get ahead? You may find this aspect does produce some conflict from authorities. And for you, this could also be around difficulties or delays around travel or study plans or dreams and objectives. But on the whole, this can really awaken that desire to get ahead, to make a difference, to make some valuable service contribution. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for listening.